What's up, ladies? I have a book I am going to share. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but I've had an experience with a narcissist, a male narcissist. And so sometimes when I experience situations that bother me, I don't understand. I try to do this thing called seek help. So I went to the library, I found a book about narcissism. Pretty interesting. So one of the chapters that I want to read tonight is regarding a relationship with narcissism. In this book, it has different chapters. So as I read, we're just going to talk about it. This is my first live for women, and I didn't really go live. I did something called private. I don't know how that's gonna go. I don't know what private live mean. I'm just trying it. Okay, so we'll see. So in the meantime, I am in the process of multitasking. So I had a video set up for my children. So I'm going to get this uploaded. Okay, so the book that I'll be reading from is The Selfishness of Others, an essay on the fear of narcissism. Okay, the author of the book is Kristin Dombek. Came from the library. So we're not going to rush through this. This is going to be the time for ladies. I will have different types of activities. We're not going to like read books only. We'll watch some videos. I'll have callers that will join us. I have video chat going on. We're just going to embrace us as women. Of course, there will be a guy around. You got to be lurking to see what's going on. This isn't no kind of women's group like that. I'm putting on some body oil called Sweet Smell of Success. Bought it at SEMAJ24hour.com, Samaj24hour.com for less than $5. If you guys see me smoking anything, it will be CBD, which is legal in the United States. 0.03% and under is legal. It looks the same as marijuana, but it's not really marijuana. Real marijuana have that THC and get you high. Right, so anything like that. Anyways, just wanted to share that so that we are clear. And so while I'm smoking or something, I'll just probably just show this just so everyone can see like everything is cool, legit, legal. So we're going to get started. I'm just going to go with the flow, okay? The bad boyfriend. There is a moment when it is beginning to happen before you are conscious of it. And then it has happened. And you try to remember what it was, as if he's turned a quarter circle to the left, away from you. From noon back to 9 o'clock, dimming the light. There is nothing you can do now that would turn his whole face toward you. The eyes that gaze upon you with such light, lift up by you. You are now the dark stone eyes of a fake made thing or an animal, turning away from you. But you are real. Now you know it. You are real. It's not something you would ever do to someone. Some people have called you a saint. You stick it out when things suck. are sweet when you want to scream. He, on the other side, just does whatever he wants. It could be a she or he, but let's just go with the he. You thought you were a we together, but all along it was an I. You're crying, and he is probably shining his little light elsewhere on some fool. It's as if he has some power over your life, over the lives of others. That means he'll never really get hurt. Ladies, let's take a break. Do you know anyone in that situation who met a guy and it seems like it was a we thing and you just gave your all, poured your heart, poured your feelings into this person, and all of a sudden you notice patterns. This person seems like an I person. I'm feeling like I'm losing power. This person seems like they will win no matter what. Wow. So, narcissists, that's one of the things. I'm going to get my let's get my dictionary. Don't forget this is legal. It's like a cigarette. So, I am going to make sure we understand the definition for narcissism because, as you all know, it's real. If you've ever heard of narcissism, being a narcissist, you know. Let's see. I don't even know what these buttons mean at the bottom of the screen. Let's see what this mute. I don't end the stream. Oh, you should. It's still on? Okay. Okay, so I'm liking how this book is already going because it's describing to you a scenario of how a narcissist come off. Let's continue. Someone who loved you would care more when you cry more, but he doesn't understand crying. It's as if the more you cry, the more he swivels. Maybe it is because he is so fragile that he cannot bear to be seen. Intimacy issues, avoidant attachment style. So in love with you that he has to hide from you, in which case you should just be patient. Maybe it's just a moment that anyone might have after being close to someone for months or years. The need to turn one's head slightly to the left from noon back to 9 o'clock, only to turn it back again with new and livelier eyes. In which case, maybe there's something wrong with you for freaking out. Or maybe this is a thing that he has, that he is. The same thing that more and more men have. Some essential, awful quality of 21st century straight masculinity and the end of romance. He's one of the evil fate. Or maybe, what? This is one thing that he has. I'm repeating the sentence. That he is the same thing that more and more men have, some essential, awful quality of 21st century straight masculinity and the end of romance. He's one of the evil fake. I read that twice. Why? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Evil fake. Okay. You can debate these possibilities forever, but you're already in it. The story of the bad boyfriend, the narcissist's favorite villain, the version of the script that is about the nightmare that happens means when, as the title of one book on that matter puts it, you love a man who loves himself. It's true. We may do an apocalypse in our most intimate relationship as well as in our most visionary politics, writes Keller. Type in, he keeps withdrawing, or what to do when he won't commit, or how do I know if he's cheating on me? And you'll find Savannah at www.esteemology.com telling you about trauma bonds, about the way Stockholm Syndrome masquerades as love, because you shared something, his cruelty that no one else can understand. What you think about that? It's been pretty deep if you've been with a narcissist before. She'll try to teach you to think differently because she's trying to start a self-esteem revolution among women. That's your woman, girlfriend, wife. The biggest mistake a lot of women make is they stick around way too long in their relationships. If someone is being disrespectful or they're blowing hot and cold with you, that means they are not committed to a relationship. Flat out. Let me repeat. The biggest mistake a lot of women make is they stick around way too long in their relationships. If someone is being disrespectful or they're blowing hot and cold with you, that means that they are not committed to the relationship. Flat out. This is freezing. So now I see what people go through online when it's freezing. Wow. I don't like my background either. But let's move on. I often think of the song by Percy Sledge. When a man loves a woman, can't keep his mind on nothing else, spends his very last dime trying to hold on to what he needs. He give up all his comfort, sleep out in the rain, if she say that that's the way it ought to be. Are you involved with a broken down? Understanding when it's time to fold them. You might think, that's it exactly. He wouldn't spend his last dime on me. He wouldn't sleep in the rain. Where's the man who would sleep in the rain for me? And what's wrong with this one? He would. He never would. I am addicted to someone who does not love me. I am unloved. But there's a quieter, a worse thought. If I met a man that is soggy and broke, would I even want him after all? Because let's face it, there's something about the way this one turns away that's hot. Let me repeat that. But there's a quieter, a worse thought. If I met a man that's soggy and broke, would I ever want him after all? Because let's face it, there's something about the way this one turns away that's hot. End of the story. Now, let's see what the next section reads. The narcissist chorus of advice about the bad boyfriend repeats and revises a story that is at least 100 years old. Narcissism has always been, for psychology, a story about bad romance and desire gone awry. An account of how, when someone turns away, it means they're turning toward themselves selfishly, and of what that means about what's wrong with the way you love, too. But in the beginning, narcissists weren't bad boyfriends, but women and gay men. Wait a minute. That seemed kind of choppy, didn't it? Let me do it again. I just feel woke to something. Let me see. Let's see. But in the beginning, narcissists weren't bad boyfriends, but women and gay men. They slide from the old characters to the new hints at something else the story is often about. What kinds of romance and what kinds of sex should count as normal? I'm going to end it. Let me see. Skip. Got it. I'm going to skip down where let's see something interesting. So I see Freud, so that's what made me look down. Let me see. A few years later, on narcissism, Freud added to his portrait of queer self-adoration an analysis of the type of female most frequently met with, which is probably the purest and truest one. Women, especially if they are beautiful, Freud wrote, develop a certain self-contentment, which compensates them from the social restrictions that are imposed upon them in their choice of object. This was 1914. He wrote on, the importance of this type of woman for the erotic life of mankind is to be rated very high. Such women have the greatest fascination for men, not only for aesthetic, aesthetic, there we go, reasons, since as a rule they are the most beautiful, but also because of a combination of interesting psychological factors. Oh gosh, people are just so horrible. I want to skip. Let me see. Skip. This is deep. This is really deep. I've only been doing this for 17 minutes. Oh my gosh. Seems like I'm at an hour. Ooh. Okay. So let's skip through. Look at all this. So you know I'm not reading all this. Okay. I mean on here, right? But it is kind of fun because I actually experienced a narcissist and it's still affecting my life. I had no clue. People like this exist. I had no clue. Wow. I don't even, these, I can take these down. I forgot. I'm not even having these meetings no more because the virus, they're canceled. So we have a coronavirus here and everything's canceled. So nobody's doing too much. I just posted a video on YouTube with my kids and somehow I got flagged. Okay, so we heard a little bit about a story. We heard a little bit about a romance. So that was all about narcissists. Okay, so let me see. Is there anything else? This is about the bad boyfriend. Okay. See some more with Freud. Let's see. Let me see. Freud's pretty interesting. Let me see. Freud never really says it, but fear is not only our only response to the uncanny. We fear ghosts, zombies, clowns, puppets, vampires, and narcissists, and yet we are drawn to them. And what are those prostitutes in the red light district to him, to which he returns again and again? If not living women, who will act as things, as dolls, and dolls who will act like women? He doesn't talk about narcissism in the uncanny. But if we were to put the two essays in conversation, Freud might have to agree with Gerard that the narcissist magic comes in, at least in part, from us. Wow. Oh my gosh. Reading. Oh my gosh. Let me get to the. This is really good, but because I'm on live, I'm not about to be reading nothing like this. It's long. Let me see. So this is the last page of this chapter. Let's see. You know how like sometimes the last page we have something. They're talking. I don't see anything. The characters change depending on who's good and the power of diagnosis, but the movie stays the same. Yeah, narcissists always stay the same. Okay, let me say. Let's look for a definition or good. Narciphobia. Good job. A pervasive pattern of paranoia in fantasy or behavior, splitting, organizing people, events in the world into categories of good and evil, real and fake, deep and superficial, etc. And castro, catastrophizing, okay. Beginning by catastrophizing. Beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts, as indicated by 5 or more of the following. Is preoccupied with number 1 is preoccupied with the idea that he or she is surrounded by people who are trying to manipulate him or her for self-serving purposes. Number 2 requires excessive reassurance that there are real people behind the avatars of others. 3 has a tendency to spend large amounts of time in online research, seeking diagnosis for romantic partners, family members, and sometimes complete strangers. Right, I don't know. I'm looking for a narcissist, like the definition that I heard. This is pretty new, and it's narcissiphobia. So I don't know. Let me keep reading. Is preoccupied with fantasies of IRL relationships and opposes them to be meaningful virtual forms of relating. Number 5, believes that he or she is special and uniquely unselfish and can only be understood by or should associate with other people with low selfishness scores. 6, has a grandiose sense of empathy, exaggerates understanding of other people's motives and feelings beyond quantified empathy brain scans force. 3 more definitions. We're gonna find definitions that I've heard of, but let's just go with it because maybe some of you who are listening have heard and can relate to this. Some of this is familiar, some of this was like, I think it's that narcissiphobia word, but some of this is like narcissism, what I heard. Okay, so let's move on. Number 7, lacks empathy. That's one of the things I know with narcissist people. Lack empathy, unusually quick to judge others based on superficial interactions, a tendency to sprint away in the middle of conversations with others. 8, inconsistent cultivation of personal happiness resources at the expense of freelance productivity, page views, often unable to swim to the occasion on-site meeting. 9, an ability to take responsibility for the floods, preoccupied with fantasies that the world is ending because of the selfishness of others. I don't know. I'll bet you think the song is about you. A quote by Carly Simon. So I'm going to look up the definition for narcissist that I'm familiar with because that right there is pretty everywhere. Um, so I have this on private going live, but I'm about to close out and go to the real live. I just did this to see how it works. Didn't know if it will work or not. Still don't know until I go to end stream, or then I can share it somewhere. So let's look up narcissist. NARCISSI. Narcissist. Personality disorder? Yeah. The heck. Might as well. Let's see. So there's a narcissism checklist. Narcissist checklist. I found on Google. Whatever. Okay, so let's go through this. So if you or someone you know had an encounter with a narcissist, you may be able to relate. Let's just smoke some THC. What's that? CBD, 0.03% legal in the United States. Can't have THC legal. Well, small percentage of it. No more than 0.03%. I probably said something backwards. I'm still learning all these new laws and whatever. So, excuse me. All right, y'all ready? I almost feel like I need some music on. This is a cool little list. It's long, but let's go. Number one. Narcissist checklist. Number one. Two-faced it. Putting friends and family down behind their backs. Number two. Tendency to blame their lack of success and failures on others. Number three. Acts differently in public than in private. Number four. Irresponsible and unreliable. Number five. Arrogant and acts superior. Can we get a whoop-de-whoop, whoop, whoop, whoop? Okay. 6. Lives in a fantasy world which may include porn, flirting, affairs, and dreams of unlimited success and fame. 7. Addicted to fantasy-oriented behavior. 8. Will lie and distort facts and change events to suit their own agenda. 9. Be irresponsible with money. Number 10. Emotional, distant, and unavailable unless they want something. 11. Lack sympathy for others, especially those they exploit. 12. Be very controlling and unable to relax. 13. Regularly provoke people and blame them for the fights. Number 14. Last one. Having trouble admitting their mistakes. Dun, 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 dun. That was pretty. I cannot believe I was married to a narcissist. Oh my gosh. So let me see. I read little bit of the chapter titled, what's that chapter? My Bad Boyfriend? The Bad Boyfriend. The Bad Boyfriend. So I'm putting this in the comment, so if anybody wants to find this book, they can. I read a little bit of the chapter titled The Bad Boyfriend. And the book, The Selfishness of Others, an essay on the fear of narcissism by Kristin Dombek. Is it Kristin Dombek? Let's see. Dombek. Yes. Dombek. Wait. Okay, let me see. I also read a list of narcissist characteristics. Yeah. Narcissist. Oh, I don't like this word. Like Mississippi. Oh my gosh, I don't like spelling this word. Narcissis. Narcissistic. I also read a list of narcissistic personality. This for her patterns. Okay, so you can't have a lot of characters, I see. So what I'm doing now is deleting because I have too many characters. Oh my gosh. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. 10 more characters. Most of it. No, it works. There we go. All right. Bye. Bye. We have fun on my life. Bye. Bye. We have fun on my life. Look at the background. It's so messy. I gotta get it together. I'm gonna have to do something like that. I don't know. Figure it out. Thank you. I'll be back again. Wait, you can join me. It's 1:40 in the morning. Narcissist. We about to get them, ladies.